Welcome to an episode of Live with Loon. And what we're doing today is we're gonna go over the mall episode. For those of you unaware, I go by the name of Big Loon. It's Up There podcast. I just dropped the episode with Maul, formerly of the Joe Budden podcast. That episode is very dynamic. It puts you in a situation to kind of relive some of the things that happened in regards to the Joe Budden podcast breakup between Rory, Maul, Joe, and Parks. And it kind of brings you into that world. That video right now is out on Patreon. If you have not seen that, I suggest you head that way, check that out, tune into that, and thank you to everybody that's on Patreon. I really appreciate y'all. I got so much love for y'all. I can't even explain. Y'all have helped to change my life, and we enjoy giving content. So today we're gonna go over the mall. So that's never seen before on YouTube, right? They've never seen the full episode. We're gonna go over that. But we also gonna go over Joe Budden taking shots at Charlamagne today on this podcast. I think there's so much we can learn from these interactions. And I'm a student of the game. I'm the real deal when it comes to this podcast thing. They can't get around me. I've been able to operate in a way that everyone before me out of respect, right? And so now I'm here to give y'all the real information for all of you people that's out there that's on either one of these guys' side and you want to argue for the sake of argument. I'll let you have that. I'm giving you information based on what I know, not based on what I heard, based on what I know, right? First, we're going to get to the mall episode. Let's start there.
It's pretty much both of us. We even on certain things on the merch side that I come up with, and my partners out in LA, Ant and G, we all collab on ideas, and we just throw things at the table sometimes, right. And whatever sticks, whatever we think is dope, we run with it. It doesn't matter, whose idea it was. If it's dope, it makes sense for the brand, and it's something that we think that people would and that they're gonna support. Like, we just put it out there. But creatively, Rory and myself, just pretty much is us. We have a whole team of people that pitch in and add things here and there, but they get our personality.
Right.
They know what we're trying to look like, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to create. So it's just like a whole bunch of people just hanging out in the dorm having fun.
Yeah, man, and it feels like that. Even when y'all left the Joe Budden podcast, right? Even the approach of the clip that came out, y'all was like, "We're looking for work."
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those of you that's not aware what you're looking at, I'm speaking to Maul right now about when he initially left the Joe Budden podcast. I found this to be an interesting time in the timeline because, number one, let's back it up some more. We're about to go into when he left Complex and he was able to come over and still have the Joe Budden podcast. I felt like that was a very interesting time for Joe because I know he didn't know what was next. I know he was somewhat thinking like, fuck, they just let me go. But thank God I still got that. And so I was trying to figure out in regards to Maul, did he feel like that was worth anything to Joe? Right? Was it worth anything that I was there to catch you when you fail? I do a podcast by myself. All right. I just signed a real big deal. I'm telling you, it's hard work. I'm the first person to do it without a co-host and without interviews, right? I was able to go get several deals before I did my first interview. And I always salute the little baby in QCP because they put me in position, and it's forever love. That's family to me, right? But doing a podcast without all these people involved in it is a different thing. So when you leave Complex, when they fire you and you have to go back to Park's house, I wanted to know how Maul felt about that. Did you feel like that we got you, homie? Because I know he felt good to be able to sit there and say, man, I created something on my own. And so I wanted to understand that feeling. Let's pay attention. It was just even a unique approach. Even looking back at it, it's like y'all were early on the skit type of, y'all might be the only people doing that in podcasts from a creative standpoint. I don't know. I mean, the white boys do it like Full Spin and Logan Paul and those guys, but from our standpoint, maybe trailblazing in that.
That's something that we want to, ultimately get into is TV and film and long form sketches and things like that. Just because we have so many ideas and things that we take from real life situations, which was what the got fired skit was when we first quote unquote got fired.
Right.
So we decided to take that and have some fun with it and create something that we thought the people would like, and they loved it. And that was all. People reached out, said, "Oh, who wrote that? Who wrote that?" It was like that. We freestyled that whole thing. None of that was written. That was all just circumstantial. We just came up with the circumstances, and we just let the camera run.
That's dope. That's super dope. Hello, everyone. On here, I want to talk to you about this. Let's get into the departure of Joe Budden podcast. Let's be clear. When did you come into the Joe Budden podcast? What episode was it? First, the name was I'll Name This Podcast Later. When did you arrive on the scene? Do you remember?
I think it was like episode 77, maybe.
Okay, like yeah. And so Sweat Equity was mentioned, right? Mm-hmm. Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and your departure from there was an unfortunate one, and it was ugly.
It was fortunate.
Right. We just talked about it. You said you
very fortunate.
Right. You told me when I was out there smoking, you said, Loon, I would have been okay with helping home.
Oh yeah. I've always, that's all.
So this was an important time in my opinion because I wanted to figure out how he was feeling. You see what I'm saying? I wanted to understand like what he was on. And when he first came in, he would tell me, Loon, I'd have been okay helping dude. I was in a position, man, I just wanted to help my buddy. And when you hear that, it's like, damn, that shit kind of sounds fucked up. Nigga come over here to help you or come over here to fuck with you, right? And I know Joe might got a different way he look at it. But, and I know things about the situation that I ain't spoke about, right? Because it ain't worth speaking about to the public, right? It ain't that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, and I'm going to get it, Joe, I got some shit for you. With this Charlamagne thing, we finna break some numbers down. But right now, we dealing with this Mal episode. When I was asking Mal this, I wondered, was he hurt? How did he feel? Because even in my comments right now, a lot of the fans say, Mal's hurt, Mal's hurt. Mal tell me it's fortunate. Every time I tried to frame it like he hurt, he pull out of it. But somewhere along the lines, I wonder how much of that is ego. Even when I hear him say shit like that, oh, it was fortunate. It's like, I'm still wondering, is that ego or do we really feel that? I'm talking about despite what's in the bank account, despite that you landed on your feet, I always frame it like, that's the homeboy. You was with that nigga. He doing the best he ever done in his life now. Granted, you might feel like it's off your back, but at the end of the day, I'm thinking like you lost one of your real partners in that little transition. That's a hell of a state to be in. That's a hell of a state to be in. Then I feel like you stole from me. Like, I can't rest like that. I got to come see you. You know what I mean?
All I've ever been, I've always wanted to be somebody that helped. Like if it's somebody, if I fuck with you, or if I feel like, I believe in what you're doing and I see your vision and I feel like I can offer some assistance, even if it's not about me getting nothing financially from it all the time necessarily. I just feel like if I'm able to, which I think we should do in our culture anyway, it's like, yo, if I have a plug somewhere, a connect somewhere where I can help you elevate what you got going on and get you to a next level somewhere, why not? Because I would want somebody to do the same for me. So, right. Especially when it's, your quote unquote friends. I feel like that goes without saying. It's like, yeah, I help you out. Like I help you do whatever. Let's do it. But we get to have fun. Why not? It's a win-win situation. So, yeah, it was all about me just, getting in and trying to help elevate something and bring some type of, energy into a situation where it made for a complete circle.
And now do you have clarity? Because over the last couple of months, there's been shots took by you, by Joe Budden, just about what y'all perceive to be the truth. You say that Joe's stealing. He says that he's not stealing.
Of course.
You say I'll come up there, show me the books. I'll do it on your platform and for great content. Put it behind your paywall. Do what you will.
Why not? Let's have fun. Listen, man, and I want to be very clear. This is not, I'm not It's no ill feelings. It's no beef. It's no, it's all love, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, at one point, we was all real friends, and so that doesn't just go away. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a beef thing. I think that everything happened for a reason. We're very fortunate, very blessed, Rory, myself, to land where we landed and be able to do what we're doing right now. So everything happens for a reason. It's just the unfortunate part of it is, when just as lies start to come into play, and trying to tear somebody's character apart and things like that. The truth is the truth, though. You know what I mean? And as I always tell my brother Rory, because we have talks, and he, Rory gets into these moods where he's like, man, I don't want to just keep going through this bullshit with this dude. And I'm just like, but Rory, when the truth is on your side, everything is going to be okay, man.
That's for sure.
You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. But, yeah, I mean, the truth is the truth. We were taken advantage of, and, we had money, a lot of money stolen from us and taken from us, and it's fucked up. But, I mean, if that's the way it had to happen for us to be in the situation we're in now, in the position we're in now in our lives, then so be it.
I really wish I asked a little more questions about the stealing part, but I think I'm gonna try to do Rory and Mom together. I don't know. I think I'm over even talking about it, to be honest, but still maybe some information in it. I may can still get some information out to the people about it, but on the full episode, which we are on right now, he did get into why he says the stealing and how he know for a fact at least $1 million was stolen, right? Just off a slip up. $1 million? What? That's Yeah. Damn, for real? Know what I mean? Now, I don't know what that means or how you categorize that in the grand scheme of things, because when you're running a business, there's a lot of tricks. There's a lot of fudging of the numbers. There's a lot of quote unquote operational costs, right? My opinion on the whole situation was, it's kind of interesting to say I sit behind costs that I can't ask you about, right? I think Rory, according to Joe, took it to a place where he was concerned about certain food that was being purchased. Like, who ordered the pizza? Like, is that on us? Or they started to watch it like that. They started to try to get down to the nitty gritty. But in Rory and Maul's opinion is, we've been asking for accounting for years, and we can't get it. Right? It's like asking your girl, let me see your phone. And she keep finding some kind of excuse. Now all of a sudden her code ain't working. Nah, that's the code 2162. 216. You putting it in like a motherfucker. That code ain't work. 2162. You think, damn, you be in your phone like another code, man. You don't want to open the phone. You can only assume that something is in that phone that you don't want me to see. So I think that they was asking for accounting. And here's the other interesting thing. And all you YouTuber dudes take the talking points and regurgitate them and get your shit on. Maul explained to me on the episode, and we got into this, and I'm gonna play it. And matter of fact, I'm gonna let it play. But it's something interesting he gonna say about the way that Joe Budden was monetizing them, but disregarding them in the grand scheme of things, right? And I caught on to it soon. He said, I said, hold on, that don't make sense. How can he such and such, right? And I want y'all to pay attention to it. But this whole interview, man, is filled with tidbits of information and Easter eggs, especially if you remember what happened. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look into exactly how Joe felt in some of these situations that we talk about. And that's how we gonna react to this interview. Pay attention. You done right and made you taught you how to fish.
Yeah, I mean,
put you in a situation now where you went and got the information.
The thing is, I always knew how to fish.
Right.
But, sometimes I don't mind, getting on your boat and helping you fish.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, if you felt like, that was your boat and, you're the big skipper and you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right.
And so, but in podcasting, with it being a new industry, it's like, I gotta give Joe some credit in regards to he did kind of make it not easier, but y'all together you lifted less, right?
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is like this new industry, nobody kind of understood how to move. Unfortunately, whatever deal he placed y'all in that y'all agreed on, he, in what you're saying, is still wouldn't stick to the deal that he had in place.
Yeah, I think when we looking back, I think when we signed our percentage agreement with each other, I don't think that he anticipated the amount of money that was going to be offered to us. So I think once that money came into play, I think that something inside of him just wasn't comfortable. And it's crazy when you think about it, but I think something inside of him was like he wasn't comfortable seeing us get that money. You know what I mean? But that happens with us a lot, man. Like it's a deeper, story behind that. It's like in our culture, we say we want to see each other eat and see each other, but it's like, somebody come in here with a whole buffet. It's like, damn, I was gonna get these a slice. I ain't want to get these.
I want to dictate what they're able to do.
You understand?
And that's unfortunate. So think about that. Think about that, right? My whole situation says, when I look at Joe as a business guy, see, and I can talk freely because I don't need nobody. See, I'm able to say whatever I want to because I don't need nobody. Can they hear me from the top of the mountain? Can they hear me when I tell them I don't need nobody? I'm dealing with information and I got some money. I'm going to be okay, man. It don't matter who say what or when they say it. So I'm trying to put the truth out there, no matter who it involves and no matter who it disrespects, right? I'm putting the truth out there, and that's what I feel like I'm doing. And if that's a problem, somebody please deal with it like it's a problem, not a press conference, right? When I look at Joe, though, and I hear some of the people like him say it's kind of selfish, it's this behavior that places them in a situation to feel like, man, it's all about him. He think it's all about him, right? And you don't want to buy into that because you want to have a personal experience with people before you have any kind of judgment on their character, right? But if 25 people run out that house and say, right, you got to believe it at some point, right? And so when Maul says that, and I look around and say, what other evidence do we have to back that up? And that's why I was hung up on this power ranking things that Complex did. For me, power ranking would indicate that everything around you is powerful, right? And if everything around you is powerful, why ain't nobody else on the list that got something to do with you? You do a podcast every week with 5 other people, and it's 25 slots, and ain't nobody made the list, but you number 1. How does that make sense? And this is common sense. And Ish is my guy. I got love for Ish. To me, he put it down on that show. But help me understand, how much power do I really have when I got 5 other men sitting next to me and nobody make the list? You look over there, you got Nyla on the list that deal with Charlamagne. They just got her on as his protege. Help me understand power. DJ Academics on the list ain't putting nobody in position. What kind of power? What kind of power we talking about? Right? So when I see it, I say, damn, you celebrating being number 1 when none of my people on the list? Me as a boss would have said that's a failure. I expect to be somewhere on the list. I'm him. I'm him Jones. I expect to be on the list. But now one of my guys ain't nowhere on the list, and it's 24 other slots. As a boss, I'm supposed to feel played by that. That's if I look at us like a collective. But now sometimes, and it ain't no shame in that. Sometimes you look at your people and say, look, y'all helping me do what I'm trying to do. Not y'all helping us do what we trying to do, but y'all helping me doing what I'm trying to do. So it's a different thing, right? This is my thing. Even though we doing it, this is my thing. And one thing about Joe with his new crop, it seems like he got that understood. Like, yo, we helping bro do his thing and we getting paid as we do it. We ain't looking to share nothing or do nothing. Bro, run it up, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of happy with that. He probably paying them well because I keep telling people Joe making money. I don't believe he making more money than Wallow and Gilly, he got too much going on. Ain't but it's two people on there. They CEO and talent. They got their audio wrapped in ads. They got like 16 sponsors. They monetizing video and audio. When you look at Joe, he just thriving on Patreon, which is a hell of a thrive, because if you put that up against YouTube numbers, it ain't that kind of money, right? If you say, damn, what is Wallow and Gilly YouTube numbers doing, right? Say they doing 400 and 500K each episode versus the Patreon money, which is a Netflix-like hustle, right? It's like a nigga got his own mini Netflix. I got one. I know. Now, I ain't shitting on the Patreon. Shout out to my Patreon people. They know I love them like, yeah, cook food. Nah, my Patreon people like family to me. Hell is you saying? But if you put that up, you get pennies on the penny on YouTube. You don't even get nothing on YouTube. You see what I'm saying? So it's a different thing when you go to understanding the business. But looking at Gil and Wallow, the difference is they got ads wrapped around all that shit on the video side, audio side. So that is what influenced their number on the video side. Because if you just deal with video being paid by AdSense on YouTube, you can say, well, damn, 100,000 views may get you 1,500, $2,000, depending on, you see what I'm saying? That you might get 500, that may be 10 grand each episode. That ain't really no real paper. But now you putting these ads in there, and these ads may be 20 grand each ad, 40 grand an ad, and you got 5 or 6 of them. Then here's what Wallow and Gilly and them killed Joe. They stop the podcast in the middle and throw a business spotlight in there. That's a whole nother, right? So business-wise, Joe got to watch what he's saying as far as what he's making on that Patreon thing. You can't just have one eye on the stove on. You dealing with niggas that's working the oven, nigga working each eye, this motherfucker, the microwave on. Everything that got heat is on in this kitchen here, home. So you got to respect that and understand when real game is being applied. A lot of niggas talk business and some people do business. Some people looking at the stat sheet, some people looking at the contract. I'm too busy looking at the contracts. Y'all keep looking at the views and the likes and all that. I know what they being paid. I just got mine. I know what's going on, right? And I come about, right? So I'm dealing with information, right? And I let niggas act like they getting paid. But when I'm knowing, you see, but I know Joe making some money, but it probably ain't more money than Gil and Wallow. Let's get back to this. Fortunate, bro, because you can't win like that.
Yeah.
And I believe that to see you riding with Rory says so much about your character just from me on the outside looking in, because I see the years from you and Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I see, you on Love and Hip Hop episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I see how far back y'all go, and it's like it gotta be principle somewhere that he's standing on,
mm-hmm.
because what else would make him ride with a dude that he met along the way?
Yeah, and it was just right is right and wrong is wrong. And I mean, and the fans and the supporters and listeners, they have a very short-term memory. But just go back to, the reason why, we didn't show up to recorders, because, he told Rory not to come in and record. And I said, whoa, he don't work for you. You can't tell him not to come in and record. Like, and I'm definitely not going to record without him.
Let me address this.
You know what I mean?
I hate to address this because I really don't do this, right? A lot of these comment kind of things, right? Some of this shit I don't like, right? But let me do this for the sake of it might be somebody that support me. So let me try to handle this with care, right? You asking me why would Rory and Mal ask for accounting? And I would think this would be common sense, right? But I understand that sometimes folk may not know which way is up. But even Joe has came out and said they had a percentage partnership deal where they had to get a percentage of what the podcast makes after the operational budget is taken out, right? That's why they would ask for accounting. I thought they made that clear. Why are we still wondering why these people are asking for accounting? It ain't like they had a deal where they agreed to a certain amount of money each episode. They had a deal saying that, look, after you pay for everything, whatever left, we bust that down, and this is the percentage. So I hope that clarifies for anyone that wonders why these guys were asking for account. Now, do I think it warrants asking for account? If I'm in that situation, I definitely want to see accounting. I don't think they ever argued, even Joe. I don't think Joe argued that they was in that kind of situation. Joe argues that I sent the accountant. What I sent, they didn't like. Maul argues what he sent had mistakes on it. And we've been waiting ever since. So that's where you get your shoes tied in. You don't know which way it's going, what's happening. But they're asking for accounting for that reason, loved one.
Just go back to that. It's like that's just me though, fam. Like if it's something wrong, then let's fix it before any of us move forward. But me and you are not gonna record without our brother, our partner.
That was a deep moment.
Yeah,
I'm talking about that was there right there because, in my opinion, you hurt Joe because Joe felt like, yo, Rory.
But why?
For Maul straight.
But why? But why is it? And see, this is the things that people don't know behind the scenes. It was like, but why, Rory? Why? Right. Why are you?
But everybody ain't doing that.
Oh, for sure.
Even when you look at Park, some of the fans will say that his position is my boat. Everything right around me look good.
And Parks was, I've known Parks for years. Good person.
Right.
Deep inside, he's a good person. I just think that, the position that he may be in and painted himself in the corner to where he don't really have enough wiggle room to really get his shit off and say what he wanted to say. But that's why I tweeted a few weeks ago. I said Parks knows.
Right.
Because I've known Parks for years, man. And for the most part, he's a good dude. I just think that he's just a little in too deep on the business end, and he has a lot of things tied in with Joe business-wise, so he can't really rattle that boat and shake the tree too much.
I seen people arguing that. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think that there's any validity to that? Do anybody believe that there is a situation where Parks is in too deep? Maybe he did some things. Is there a situation where that could be the case? Like, I'm not sure. I'm asking y'all because if I take it for what it looks like and we go back a little bit, I believe that what happened to Joe is that he lost the locker room, right? I think at some point, as the GM, as the coach, as the head, I feel as though he lost the locker room, and when he was put on notice that he lost the locker room, I don't like how he reacted. I don't think he reacted like a nigga that's tried to get the locker room back. I think he doubled down on whatever his motion was, and some people went for it and some people didn't. Parks did say he paid well and he don't give a fuck. Parks did say that. But what else you expect Parks to say when he made his decision? I'm talking about the truth, not what makes sense, because I think what Parks did makes sense. He done made his decision. Now he got to stand on it. But I'm saying, was it a point in time where Parks was in that huddle too saying, man, we ain't being paid right. Something ain't looking right. Something fishy. Do you think Parks was ever involved in that is what the question is. Because when you look at it, they saying like, yo, Parks working hard over there for peanuts. Parks the only one non-expendable. Parks is somebody that handles a lot over there for Joe. So I think Joe now is in a position to take care of him. But again, was Parks ever in the huddle of shit ain't right around here? Shit ain't hidden around here. We believe he's stealing. He hiding the money. He's spending the money on all kind of shit, teeth and everything. Was it ever that? Is my question. And I want to take a look at this episode right here from Joe Nim, because if you pay attention to certain things, you can figure certain things out. Pay attention. Ish and them first hit the scene, first came and helped him out, right? Because he was in a bad position. But you can look and see, he don't even look like he look now. He don't look healthy. He don't look like, I ain't saying healthy. He doesn't look enthused or motivated. He looked drained, right? And what I believe happened to him is that as he was getting information, he was giving information, and the information he was giving, people were utilizing on him. It's like, oh, it do make sense. You left Complex because Spotify came and gave Complex a deal and you didn't eat off of the deal. You didn't get the percentage off of the show that you own for that Spotify ad. And so you made a move. And we sit next to you every week when you come here and you continue to double down on it and explain in detail why the creator is so important and so influential to the deal and how it couldn't happen if the creator never showed up and the work stoppage is the only way to, right? This was his marching order. This was him walking out of buildings with his backpack saying, yo, I leave this place knowing my audience gonna react to what just happened. My audience won't move without me. They won't show up in the same way if I'm unhappy or if I don't show up. Right? The show ain't the show when the show ain't there. Right? I felt like he felt that. And so as he was speaking that into the world and trying to fight to the companies and say, man, you know, this and that, his homeboy saying, yo, you treating us like they treating you. But the deal you got from them, we got with you, and the way they not respecting it, you not respecting it, and it's a thing happening that you explaining to us about them that applies to us. So this is a tornado he placed himself in, and he lost the locker room. So I asked the question again. Was Parks ever a part of the huddle? Did Parks ever look over and say, man, I don't know, man, this shit might not be. And I ain't saying nothing wrong with that. This is where I think Parks or whoever gotta be a man because we got questions, nigga. We can question things if right. Like, who are we to say Parks couldn't have said at some point, I'm recording for State of the Culture. I'm recording for the podcast. I'm recording for Afterthoughts at the time. These niggas are create any kind of thing. I'm recording for See the Thing Is. I'm recording for this other show. I forgot what's her name? I forgot her name. But I'm recording all these shows, right? They doing it in my home. You see what is that worth? What is this happening, right? And maybe he was even in the huddle, not from his own influence. Maybe he was influenced by a couple people that had a partner agreement that was saying, nah, man, they had an account, something ain't right. But I believe dude lost his locker room. That's what I believe. They wanted money from Joe. He was making on the side. Remember when Mom said it wasn't about the money? It was about respect. Now all of a sudden it's about money. I believe it's about money and respect, right? Because if you respect me, you will honor the contract. See, that's you see how fast I move in the podcast game? Because I always let it be known, homie, if you respect me, you posted, you see what I'm doing, you know I'm leaving the darkness, you know what's chasing me. If you come from this, you know what's chasing me. You know I come from that for real. Everything check out. Every single time they look up, it check out. So you know I come. So if you got any love for me, put me in position to make sure my children, you understand this bit. I push that line because I'm not doing this for nothing, right? I don't have the time to waste. I can be doing other things. So, you know, sometimes if you respect me, put me in position. I had a phone call with Nori. I'm on the phone with Nori about the Joe Budden thing when I came out and spoke about them niggas talking about niggas want to fail and all that, you know. It's a lot of podcasters out here that'll never be able to reach some of these guys, never be able to reach me, never be able to get in the car with some of these individuals, right? And so all they got is what we say on these mics, these conversations we lead, these driplets of information that they get when we get on these microphones. That's all they got. And so I felt as though when you get on the mic and you blur the lines and say certain things that don't align with what I know to be the case, right? In regards to you want niggas to fail. That didn't say nothing to me, but that ain't cool. And then Nora was boosting up a whole bunch of shit. He called me. He was upset. Loon, man, damn. I respect you. I got love for you. You know, what you doing, I appreciate it. And I had to tell him, if you appreciate it, you ain't never post me. You ain't never reached out. I don't need your post. You ain't never reached out. Put me on no business. I'm working with an audience, influence, money. I don't need nothing but some information. Right? And so he was like, you know what, Loon, that's right. And he was telling me, yo, it get hard for us niggas to reach out to each other. And I know what he's talking about. It's a wall in between that. You understand? You don't know how Loon gonna react to a nigga reaching out. Little nigga might be arrogant, might say, who is this nigga? Fuck the right? Even though that ain't never my vibration. If you know me and you listen to me, you know I'm grateful to be doing anything other than what I was doing. Right. So I feel as though God is ordained this situation. I ain't never been attached to nothing that's gonna put anybody in no harm's way that didn't deserve it. Never in life had that big my kind of cadence. I ain't never on that vibration. But you don't know that looking at me. Maybe I look like I'm fresh out of with it on me, right? Maybe that's what they get from me, so I get it. He don't know how to read. I say, you know what? That's cool. He give me his number. Loon, we locked in, and we locked in from there. But if you love me and you respect me, put me in position and honor the contract. You feel me? What Maul and them was saying was, say, dog, he ain't honoring our contract. Our agreement we got in place say we took a measly 15%. Right? We took a measly 15% of the whole operation, and we decided that out of that 15%, we gonna sit behind all these costs. We ain't get the 15% net. We got the gross. Or is it the other way around? We got the gross and not the net. Whichever way it is. You got the one that minus all the shit. But here's the thing, Mom them say to themselves, he ain't honoring what he said to me. Now you ask yourself, is that true? You ask yourself that. Because everybody can't answer that. I think that the people that was involved with it, Rory, Maul, Parks, right? And then you got Itch and Ice involved in the situation. How do we think they're being paid? You know, I think they're doing well. You know, I think that I got love for Ice. I'm sorry, I got love for Ish. But me and Joe, we got to have some conversation. These things ain't what he seemed to be. He ain't telling the truth. He ain't telling us the truth, y'all. I don't believe he's telling us the truth with this shit. Let's pay attention. Hold on. Let's get back to it. Pull it back up for y'all. Here we go. Oh, shit. It's a lot to talk about. I want y'all to know we got a little bit. We're getting into a lot of shit today.
He knows, man, and those guys, all of those guys over there, all those guys in the room, they know me. They've known me for at least 12 years.
Yeah,
they know that I'm not. I never did no sucker shit, no foul shit. I've never, done no whack to nobody. So they know my character. So it's just that everybody is kind of in a position because they got to choose a side,
right?
And they chose to ride with homie, and it's all good. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's no beef, man. It's no, this podcast and things sometimes it get a little weird. Like everybody feel like it's competitive and it's beef, and it's so I know what real beef look like.
Right.
It's no beef. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they had to choose a side, and it's all good. Like I said, Rory and myself were able to pivot and land on our feet and do what we do. And like I said, we just came back from selling almost 700, 800 tickets in the UK. The same night Dave Chappelle had a show, by the way.
That's dope.
That's
dope. Shout out to y'all. Yeah. And you know what? When I was telling you, when it first happened, I was afraid for y'all.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like, and I got this from B. Marshall with the episode I just did with him, where I would have put y'all in a situation to overextend.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like immediately there was this thing in the market between y'all two, and he was trying to battle to look like he was still in a good place, and y'all was trying to say, yo, we're on our own now.
Right.
And I was saying, spend the money, go get a building, go get a set, go get this, go get that. And y'all bubbled it right up, and that fan base of y'all. So I want to be clear on that point right there, because I think that was important. On top of that, you heard Joe kind of be critical of their set. And because I know podcasting, I know that's the way of thinking, right? That's what I was speaking about then. Like when they first left, I said, all right, they got to do something. I feel like the market was looking for them to do this elaborate thing, for them to be this well-oiled machine, even though they just left that situation. And I think they kind of slow walked it, right? And for me, at the beginning, I was paranoid. I'm like, yo, they better do something, or it's gonna bury. They better do something. But like he said, they just sold out 800 people at a theater. For me, that said something, right? That's big boy business. But it was interesting. And you heard Joe kind of be critical of them and say, well, how you know you ain't make $10 million? And he said, because of the set. And I'm telling you, I know the market, they pay attention to these little bitty things, and they weigh things up based on, they know what that'll cost you to kind of move out of that little spot to be in this kind of spot. But it's interesting for Joe to say that when he made millions of dollars in somebody's basement. You see, the irony of the universe is, if I look back, I see what I see, right? I get to see what happened. You see what I'm saying? You can't hide the evidence. It's already been planted into the universe. So if you look back, Joe made a lot of money in somebody's basement. 3 niggas sitting this close, literally. 3 niggas in this shot right here. 3 niggas in this shot right here. He made millions. And he critical of them niggas set, because it ain't about they set. He play these mind games. We see him trying to play him with Charlamagne. We're going to get to in a minute. He played these little mind games because he think people are mental midgets. They know me, man. They know me. Joe know. They all know me. All of them. They know me. I'm the golden child. They know exactly who. I'm telling you, listen. They bleep my name out of shit. They know who I am. They know. They've checked it out. They know. Trust me. I activated it and took it to the next level. Y'all did that shit.
I mean, we just, again, we don't want to go fast. We want to go right. We want to do it right. We want to move right. And we have a vision for ourselves and what we want to look like and what we ultimately want to end up. And I think we're doing a great job of doing that. We're not running out getting a guest. We don't want to be too heavily guest-based every week, because then you paint yourself in a corner with that when it's like, okay, we can't get a guest. So who do we, what do we do now? So we kind of want to just show people that we can create something where we basically, we're the talent, and we rely on ourselves and our own personalities to push this thing forward, and then pull in on, guests that we really have a personal relationship with, that we kind of already have some type of rapport with, and just do something more creative aside from just sitting down talking. Like we ultimately want to move into like a TV and film space, and do things on that level, because we have the talent and ability to do that, which is what we try to show with some of our skits and promo pieces and things like that for the live shows.
It'd be dope too.
Just try to show a little just some versatility in what we're doing.
Right. Do you think you hurt Joe Budden? Do you think, now let me ask you this. When did you start to pivot towards Rory? Like, hold on, but something ain't right. That ain't cool. When was that? Rory and myself developed a relationship naturally on the show throughout the years. But in that situation, the business and things like that, it honestly became a thing where it fell into that because we were on the same side of the fight. Like we both were fighting for the same thing. Like it was like, all right, we have this, this deal that. But I felt like he would have straightened you out and not straighten Rory out.
But even that, I wouldn't go for it.
I know it, but I felt like that's what hurt him, right? When he said, I remember a time when he said, I never saw the day.
Yeah.
But he was talking about you.
Yeah.
He was. I'm telling you, man, something about you stung him. All right. Let's talk about that. It was several occasions, and I may play a clip just so you can really visualize, and I can give you an illustration about what I'm explaining, right? Hit the like button too, man. Hit the fucking like button. They telling me that people ain't hitting the like button. We streaming on 10 different. Why I gotta say hit the? They said, yo, don't do that to Loon. I ain't one of these kind of guys. But it's important that y'all understand this. Now I lost my fucking train of thought because y'all don't hit the fucking like button. Go back to this.
We had a relationship for so many years.
Yeah.
And
that dude's a white boy. But that's what it was. Rory and Mal, when did that come a thing? And Mal pivoting towards Rory, right? Leaving his guy he been knowing for 10 years, right? My whole thing was I knew it took a lot for that to take place. I felt as though that Joe was always signaling them all, trying to send a signal. I was gonna tell Rory he manipulating. I ain't said nothing about Mom. That motherfucker Rory ain't shit. I ain't said nothing about Mom. So I'm saying, I'm gonna say such and such about the Rory nigga. I ain't said nothing about Maul, but Maul standing with Rory. Right? He said, no, because we got the same deal. And you done paid us the same. I see if you were sliding me something under the table, now you would have tested his boundaries, see if he would have went for the back door. But he said he wouldn't have went for it because I felt like Joe would have straightened Maul. I felt like Maul would have came to Joe by itself. That Joe would have said, here, man, I'm going to straighten you out, man. You know, we've been through a lot. Fuck that Rory nigga. Even though that's bad. Because Rory ain't did nothing but try to, I guess, shift through what he think the circumstances is. I don't really know. But I think him and Rory relationship was on rocks. It wasn't really cool like him and Maul. Them niggas went back, man. Super back. Principle involved.
That's all it is. It's principles. And with me, I don't care how long I know you. I don't care. It's principle. It's integrity. It's honor. You know what I mean? So it's like right is right, wrong is wrong. And I'm not going to stand there and allow somebody that, because I looked at it like we a team. We all in this boat together. You know what I mean? We stand on that stage together. So
there's so many niggas that would have rolled with a nigga they knew for 10, 15 years only because it's like, what do I got to lose?
Well, that's and again, that's the problem with us.
It is.
It's like,
and I'm telling you, salute from one real nigga to another one, even if everything else out the window. Just I'm saying that look like from my perspective is principle involved in that.
Absolutely.
Because it's my guy right here. I was with this guy when he was raggedy, man. I'm talking about, man, if you go back and I ain't never been raggedy. I come out the street with some money. You understand? No cap on that, no 10 on it. You go back some, you say, damn, home was kind of, it seemed funny over there a little bit financially, and that's cool because we all had to come from something, but y'all helped lift that. How much weight do you think you lifted over there? Out of 100% of the lifting with the Joe Budden podcast up until your departure, how much do you say was your contribution?
I mean, I think I contributed a lot. I think I lifted a lot. You go back to some of the early episodes. I think that's when it started to turn, just because I think my personality in my relationship with Joe was so unique and so honest. And, I think that helped turn it into what, even if you go back to the Charlamagne episode, Charlamagne said it. He said, this thing didn't really pop until Maul got here.
Yeah, I got to squash it with you with Charlamagne. I know y'all got a little something. He done right. He doing right by me, man.
No, Charlamagne, listen, I know he does things behind the scenes for people that, I salute and I respect. I just didn't, let me finish the point though. We'll get to that. So yeah, I just think that the relationship that we had with each other, because I still don't really like saying his name, but the relationship that we had with each other, I think it was so honest and so real, and it was dope to see, and so many people could relate to it. I think that helped lift it with him and Rory, and shout out to Marissa. What they had, I think, was unique as well. I just think that, you insert somebody that had a real relationship, the relationship that we had with each other, and you put that on mic and on camera, I think people gravitate towards that, the stories, the holding each other accountable.
And he was intentional with, I'll give him some credit on this. He was intentional with the consumer facing when it comes to you, right? He was intentional with saying, man, you just too cool, man. You dress better than me, man. Yeah. He was intentional on camera with that. He's smart enough to know what he's doing when he's doing it. What he doesn't say says more to me about him than what he does say on camera. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So he's somebody that's intentional with doing that, and I'll give him a little credit with trying to have the consumers accept you in a way where it's like, this is my cool partner. Yeah. And it even translated to someone like a Charlamagne that was like, you know what? Maul is that nigga too now. All right, let's talk about that, because if you've been seeing lately, and I want to transition a little bit. Let's talk about that. Joe Budden been going at Charlamagne lately. Now he's framing it like Charlamagne took a shot at him on this $1 million worth of game. It's a very interesting interaction. And if you're just a fan of Joe, you ain't gonna understand it, right? You just gonna take it for what it is. And I understand that because you somebody that got a frank in your mouth. You don't know the difference. You don't know the forest from the trees. You just whatever they say, I agree with. But pay attention out there and pay attention to not only what people say, but what they do. If you only listen to what a man say, I become a magician. Let that breathe for it a little bit. 'Cause I think you need to understand what I'm saying to you. You understand? Joe Budden and Charlamagne. Maul is talking about Charlamagne throwing another alley-oop to Joe as he would come over to the podcast at the beginning and give him the cosign. Somebody stop me when I'm lying. Joe Budden did the pull-up. Who he go get? Charlamagne. Somebody stop me when I'm lying. He went and got Casanova. That might be the only time we seen him with Casanova. Is it a coincidence that Tekashi 6ix9ine had beef with Casanova at that time? Help me understand. Some call it reaching, some call it stating the obvious. Whichever one I'm cool with, because they done gave me the money out of this game. I get to say whatever I want. I get to say whatever I want to say. Long as it's the truth, I'm gonna be all right. I can sleep well at night. Joe Budden did the pull up. Who he go get? Charlamagne, Wayno. Wayno was just took his job at Complex. He went and got Wayno, Charlamagne, Mayno, right? Casanova, Jinx. I'm just trying to remember these kind of people was at his first pull up. Also, at the end of the year, him and Charlamagne did a thing. Not somebody else. He went and done that with Charlamagne when he was doing the podcast. He went up to Breakfast Club, even though Rory couldn't go. That's how important that look was for the podcast. Let's keep it gangster. Went up on Breakfast Club and Rory couldn't even go. But on behalf of the podcast, again, y'all helping me do my thing. See what I'm saying? So they know the mission is for me to get this podcast off the ground. So I got to put y'all in position to see me. If that mean going what niggas don't like Rory, fuck Rory. If Charlamagne didn't like Maul, maybe Joe didn't go. Because when him and Maul kind of got Joe didn't go back. Something about Joe and Maul he was standing with a little bit. But Maul was in the car with Rory because they had the same contract. So if you love me enough, you got to straighten me. You got to straighten the situation, not just straighten me. If you love me like you say you love me, straighten the situation, not just me. Because if you straighten me, I don't think that's fair. That's what it sounded like to me. Y'all help me understand what it sounded like to y'all. I'm waiting. Y'all help me understand what it sounded like to y'all. I'm reading comments right now. I'm reading comments right now. What it sound like to y'all? Because I'm listening. Let me get some going for y'all right quick. Because I'm sure I'm reading comments. Let's get some music going. Like we on the pod. If you're not on patreon.com and sub that podcast, you don't really support me. Cause that's where my people at. And I'm gonna go and keep it gangster with you.
You're a liar.
If you ain't over there, you a liar. I'm reading comments right now. What we doing? You know, I wanna also look at this, right? Damn, why is it doing that? What? Stop it. All right, stop. All right. Let's take a look at this right quick. Then we'll get to the Joe Budden and Charlamagne, get back to the mall thing. I'm here for a second. You know what I want to look at? Let's look at Today, Joe took some shots at Charlamagne. I wanna take a look at that. I believe that we're in a position, right, where we should be able to talk about everything. How y'all feel about that? I believe. Hold on, let's get it on. I believe we got the right to talk about whatever we want to talk about. Most people ain't gonna like. Most people ain't like it, but I know the whole game respect it. They know better than to play. Oh yeah. No, don't go where go full screen right here. Now give me a second. I'm gonna get y'all right. Don't worry. I know I'm worth it. Like I said, I ain't never really streamed before, right? And so I feel as though streaming is pretty cool. I don't know if I'm gonna do it a whole bunch, but I'm gonna fuck with y'all sometime. All right, let's look at this. Let's let everything kick in. For some reason, it's lagging. So let's let it kick in. Y'all put something in the in the chat. Let's talk, man. I'm talking to the people today. What we about to get into is the Joe Budden and Charlamagne shots back and forth. I want to bring a little clarity to some of these things, right? I think that the game is information based, and I think it's muddy in the waters when we don't know the difference between podcast and radio and who's actually making money, who's making bosses, who's playing kingmaker, and who's playing chess. Because some of y'all using the people you love to get where you need to go, and can't nobody, we can't really knock people for hustling because that's part of the game. I feel as though if you're gonna be a hustler, make the game respect you as a hustler. But you got to make sure some of your guys get on in the process. Put some of your dogs on. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to tell dudes to do. Put some of your dogs on. If you don't do nothing else, put some of your people on. Because if you don't do that, who are you really? I talked about earlier that, hey, yo, you can't be on the list. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, we finna get to it. We finna get to it. Y'all give me a second. I'm trying to make sure can y'all see me? Put in the chat if y'all can see me, because I think it's having problems on my side. If y'all can see me, put in the chat. Put in the chat if y'all can see your boy. All right, y'all ready? Let's get to it. I think it's gonna be a good conversation, man. Y'all put in the chat if y'all can see me. All right, everybody can see me. Let's get to it. Let's go on and make it happen. We got a lot to talk about with this. Hold on. First, let me put some context around what we talk about. Those of you that don't, Budden came back and he took in shots at Charlamagne the God. He's interested in Charlamagne the God's financial situation, which I don't see how. I think it's I think he's lying and he know he's lying, but let's entertain it because we have a podcast and I love the pod, right? Joe Budden came out and said Charlamagne don't have no money. He might not have $1 million. We all know this. If we've been a student of the game, that's kind of interesting to think about. But we know Joe Budden now is making a lot of money. Let's keep it real. Joe Budden is making a lot of money now, so he's got his dick on the table. He's talking big boy shit. He said that Charlamagne, which this is what I find this interesting. Joe Budden attacked Charlamagne when Charlamagne is the guy that said, "Hey, don't say that. We ain't even talking about a list." He told him, "We not talking about the list," and he the one that got shot at, which is it lets me know a lot. So Joe Budden went on his podcast And this is how he adjusted to that situation.
I don't want my look to fit to look on YouTube. Yo, God just always wanting. So I'm gonna ask my cash now. Y'all know with me. No, I have two voice. You know how Kevin Gates got two phones? I got two voices. Now we could be mature about this.
Is that you loading up the business?
We could.
I said mature.
Loading up.
That's other shit.
You loading up.
Big shit. Automatic shit.
All right, so let me have a little fun with this. Okay. What does this clip have to do with Joe Budden?
I don't know. The list. You tell us.
Does this clip have anything to do with me? Am I just inserting myself in business that has nothing to do with me? Maybe these were four broadcasters just having a conversation that don't pertain to you. Like, you can't censor yourself. It's not about you. So I don't want this to be one of those moments.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, you do. Let me tell us.
Do you think it was about you?
I mean, I got tagged in that shit about 10, 15 times yesterday, so I'm pretty sure that you're not the only one that might.
Which voice is talking to you the loudest?
It's always the bad one.
Yeah, it's always,
It's always this one.
Yeah. No, I think both. I think we can do both. Black people are so multifaceted. We can be positive and something else. So convince me that this is about me. I do feel I'm half and half.
I think it's about you.
Nothing in this clip said that this was about me. There was another clip that was talking about once niggas start talking about the ads who take ads and once a week, twice. Once niggas start getting into that type of talk.
Oh, it went all.
Yeah. He always said any company that don't ask, let's shut the fuck up. It's only works.
Well,
and he said, and we only do once a week. He's gonna shit off. But I think podcasters should be able to get their shit off.
I think black businessmen in the whole need to be able to get this shit off. I think that I think it's been a space that we always gotta be pit against each other. And I think that it's kind of bad that it took, this is my personal opinion, it's not even for you. I think it's bad that some other people instigated it. You know what I mean? A potential situation. I think that's corny to me. Like, it was some instigating shit going on in that, and I think that's why.
Who instigated what?
Like, they like, yo, that ain't what the list said. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's instigating shit. Now I'm trying to give you a battery in your back. Say, fuck that list. We doing X, Y, Z. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like that. Amongst.
All right, let's talk about it. They didn't say that. Charlamagne didn't say that. Envy said that. And that was interesting. But Charlamagne did not say that. So I think that we got some misunderstanding even there because Charlamagne said don't bring up the list.
Successful black people, I think that's corny, and I think that's whack.
Flip, how you want me to handle this, man? Just put on this mature voice. How you want me to handle it?
I want you to handle it the way we usually handle it. COE. Only one nigga safe. COE, what we doing?
Oh, so these are the two voices that be on your shoulder.
That's it right there. Handle how you feel, man. They said fuck the list. How do you feel about that? Break it down. I mean, you have, since I've been on this pod, you have expressed as far as you don't use ads. You don't have to use ads up here. Like the stuff ran, however that is. Nigga, I'm not here to articulate. I'm here to hype my man to go in so I can come from behind, pause with the bazooka and blow up the whole shebang. What are we doing? You have talked about ad revenue that you ain't fucking with ads. That part could have been that true because they could have felt the way I don't fuck with ads. These niggas fuck with ads. I know what they get. I know these niggas contracts. You be going in when you on your rants. You talking about you know niggas contracts and what they're making with ads and niggas inflating numbers. Yes, you said niggas was inflating numbers at one point.
I'll be talking that talk.
Yeah, I know they're real contracts.
Streaming farms and companies, higher third-party streaming farms. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Streaming farms.
Yeah, you think they just exist in music? Anything that can stream, there's a streaming farm for it.
I mean, okay, what is it? What a streaming farm is?
I think he may be, I don't know. What does that mean? Y'all tell me in the comments, what does he mean when he says that? I'm listening. Y'all tell me what Joe Budden means. If he's saying it's streaming farms, that means that everybody could be using them, even him, right? He's one of the big ones. So that may mean that he know what he's talking about, right? That may mean something he can use. Let's pay attention.
No, that is right. Yes. So anything that's, you could be streaming a video somewhere.
You can engage the streaming forum to boost your numbers up. And niggas are doing it.
Forum.
So that's like the farm.
Okay, that's
So that's like
yeah.
so that's like back in the days, the refresher app. When you put it on the, talking about, and
The
you get the
refresher
views,
app to get the views.
it
on YouTube,
automatically refreshes. That's what niggas is doing, but they're doing it differently.
No, they doing it where it's called a farm because
It's
it's
15 phones, 1,500 phones in one room.
Yeah, no.
1,500 phones in one room, and it just keep
It's playing whatever it is that program to play. Running up the numbers.
Niggas buying views.
Yeah, I don't think that's too important here, right? I think all
I do.
I think all of the top podcasters by now have figured out their business model and how they want to go about things. But I think off of our Don Lemon conversation that this is very important, right? Because you asked me where I stand, and where I stand is create the change that you would like to see, or be stuck as a slave to the system. And for me, that system has always looked like, I think your man, I think the Charlamagne comes from that system. iHeart is that system. Radio, right, is that kind of dinosauric, just old white views that's fronting to have posts on culture to sell ads. Like, that's how I view that. But he brought that up. Like, I have nothing to say about this because he kind of introduced.
I see that I'm lagging. I need y'all to come to patreon.com and sub their podcast. I'm lagging a little too hard right now. Y'all tell me in the comments because I'm thinking about restarting or coming back later. Am I lagging bad or what? Y'all let me know, man, because I'm thinking about stopping. Y'all say something in the comments. Is it lagging bad? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let's talk to the people a little bit. How do you feel about the game Dame Dash gave on ownership versus partnership? Do you think it lowers the value of the podcast by taking ad money? And would you take a job at JBP? No, man, I'm a boss, man. I hire people. That's interesting though, because I got love for Ish. And I look at Joe like somebody that's been influential in the market. But let me get to the first part. I talked about the ownership versus partnership. If you don't know, on Patreon, I got an episode about the I'm Athlete with Brandon Marshall and Fred Taylor, where I asked them the exact questions about that, right? It's an ownership versus partnership conversation that comes out of that because it's so important to know what you have. And here's another thing. A partnership deal can allow you to participate like an owner as long as that agreement is in place, right? But it's just you don't own it, but you can. And this is why I think the fans kind of lost Maul in them is because they were saying, yo, what we have is not that we own the podcast, but we participate like an owner. So we have a partnership. And I asked Maul flat out, did you ever think you had an ownership deal? And Maul said no. And so I think they were clear that they had a partnership kind of deal. And I always appreciate the game that Dame Dash gives, man. He one of them guys. You know, the companies, the companies that some of the big podcasts are signed to are also music companies. So it only makes sense they would have streaming farms. Makes sense. It makes sense. That makes sense. All right, let's keep going then. Everybody say I'm good. I appreciate y'all, man. Like I say, make sure y'all get to patreon.com. I got the new merch out about the complex list. Man, we doing good over there. We just signed a big deal. Man, y'all gonna see a lot of us, man. We just dropped the Mall episode about the Joe Budden thing. Again, we doing the Fred Taylor, B. Marshall. We got Wallow coming. We got Schultz. We got Nori. Me and Nori. It was interesting. We got 19 Keys. We got Trap Lord Ross. We got Shaq. We got Charles Barkley. We We got QCP at some point. Hopefully he come back. Of course, we already got Lil Baby on there. We got Rich Homie Quan on there, Dr. Umar Johnson, Adam 22. Like, we killing it. And this is without any industry. This straight out the street. We've been smoking it, bro. We've been smoking it, man. And I appreciate all y'all. Just make sure you get the Patreon. I'm going to keep going since y'all saying it ain't no bad leg. Let's keep it going.
That while they were on this show. And I think he introduced that because he's a slimy little piece of shit and was trying to gear a conversation to go somewhere. And I don't think that Gillian Wallow took the bait. I think they big up themselves. I think they big up each other, and they should be able to do that. But the important part that I want to focus on is that it's that little dinosauric, old age, never kind of got it out the mud nigga that came in there and did that.
All right, let's talk about that. What he's saying is that because I guess Envy, you got to be talking about, brought up the list at a time like that. It was a setup for the conversation, is what he's alleging. Now, what I find interesting is Joe went off for an hour and something about being on the list. Charlamagne was out the country, literally, at that time. Breakfast Club wasn't even shooting when the list came out. And he said, I put my finger in Charlamagne's face. Get the fuck out of here. You know, he just kicking his pod shit. And it's like, for me, it's so interesting to see him react like that to people having conversation. Here's my theory. The list indicated posturing, consumer facing. So what Joe Budden was able to get from the list, he didn't want stepped on. But when we go to the truth for it, Wallow and Gillian are making the most money for us podcasts. Breakfast Club ain't a podcast. They don't make more than Breakfast Club. Let's shut those rumors down. I'm telling you this because I know. I can call anybody in the game. Anybody. I can call them. I've saw the deals. Me, Wallow, I've seen these deals. I know they don't make more than Breakfast Club. That's one. But two, it's interesting that they've wrapped all they got in ads. And this is what Joe Budden doesn't want to do for some reason. He doesn't want to participate in the ad game. All right, somebody saying JPP video is doing a lot better. I don't believe that. I think when you really look at the numbers, your question now becomes, how is it doing a lot better? When you say Joe Budden podcast video, you talking revenue, right? I hope you ain't talking about views because I ain't studying views. I'm talking about making money, right? So when you talk about making money and you say Joe Budden, I talked about this on this Up There podcast. Go see it. I broke it all the way down. It was fire. When you talk about Joe Budden podcast and you talk about views, I mean, you talk about $1 million worth of game and you talk about views. What you have to understand is every so often, I meant the lag, sorry. Oh, okay. But anyway, every so often with the Joe Budden podcast, every so often with the $1 million worth of game, you hear them stop and say Omega Solutions and shit. Them shits be worth 40 and 50 grand. That little minute right there be worth for 40. I know this. I'm telling you. So it's like, and sometimes it can be more than that, depending on what's right, depending on how far we go with it, how long we gotta read. It's just interesting. And so Joe not doing that. So now Joe's eating tremendous off Patreon video. That's where he kicking ass at. But here's the thing: he got 5 people to pay. Ain't nothing but Gillian Wallow, and we stopping every 15 minutes for a 40. Every 15 minutes. Let me tell you about such and such. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about, hey, sponsored by this episode. That's a 40 or 50 every time. Then don't bring up the fact that welcome to Business Spotlight. This episode of Business Spotlight, we teach you how to sell tires. All you got to do is go down to the local tire shop. We got your boy right here. He done made $16 million selling tires. Tell him how you got in the business, man, of selling donut tires. That's a 50. That's a 60. Let me know y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? I don't know if he came back in or not. Y'all let me know. I'm talking. I'm here. If so, if not, I'm gonna have to redo it. Can y'all hear me out there? Y'all hear me in the chat? We back. We back. We back. We back. Shout out to y'all. We back. What was I talking about, man? Y'all know I'm the GOAT with this shit. So y'all just go ahead and put what I was talking about. I can pick it right up. I forgot what I was talking about. What was we talking about? But here's the thing, right? Joe Budden talking about Charlamagne all that time about the list, celebrating about the list. I'm talking about enjoying himself, popping his shit as he should. You number one, right? Here, Complex is making you number one on something, but they misrepresented certain words like power, because power would indicate that you believe I have the best interest of these people next to me. If I'm number one and it's 25 other people, why ain't nobody else in here on this list? And I'm the powerful Joe Budden. I'm the number one power ranking, and can't nobody that sit diagonal to me get nowhere on the list. That's a loss for me, because I ain't just doing this for me. That's why I don't got no co-host, because I know whoever I bring with me, I'm going to take care of them like they me. They got certain verses in the Bible where God will bring somebody with him and tell them, treat them like he me. You feel me? So I bring people with me. I know I got the kind of vibration that if I got a co-host, I'm going down with the ship. So keep the co-host thing away from me, especially when I'm spending all my money. See, I didn't come up with no bunch of people funding me and nobody else money. I come up with my money, so it make me have to say no co-host, because they gonna want your money. Now, y'all talk about ad revenue. Joe not having ads. So Joe says he doesn't take ads, right? I still don't understand. I think he says it's because of the listening experience. And I think he's saying that when he starts to play the ad game, they tell you what to say, but I'm telling you that's not true, at least in my deals. They not telling me shit. They saying, hey, here go 45,000, place it in there. They ain't saying you can't have it on this kind of episode, but I guess my brand is safe. I guess my brand is safe. It's like, they know it's information based, dude, trying to get some game out there, and they respect it. But let's get back into him talking to Charlamagne again. Take note, he mentioned Charlamagne by name all these times. So much mention Charlamagne by name, and then they go on there and Charlamagne don't even mention his name. DJ Envy bring up the list and he shoot at Charlamagne. So you telling me that he gonna frame that as Charlamagne doing something? Is that what we gonna believe now? Though y'all want me to pull up the $1 million worth of game so you can know, right? Joe got lucky, and right, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I got the ideal business model for podcasting. And it's because of people like Nori, like Charlamagne, like Joe, like Wallow, because of them people showing what they've done, and Wallow and Charlamagne in specific giving me the game, right? So I'm able to see exactly how to structure these things. Joe showed you what to do with the Patreon move. Wallow them showed you what to do with the ad thing. Charlamagne showed you what to do with audio. Charlamagne showed a nigga what to do with audio, Holmes. He was making money off talking before podcasting was a thing. So we just talking about interviews and just talking. I've been able to feed my family for years off the mic. And we gonna get into murky waters with Joe Budden on here when he say Charlamagne ain't got $1 million. It's murky waters, man. Pay attention. Oh, man, it done took it off. Hold on. Y'all hold on for a second. There we go. There we go, y'all. There we go. Don't worry. Don't worry, we coming, y'all. There we go.
He did that. One person. The real conversation here that should be being had is, like Ish said, all of these black media people that are able to have these multi-million-dollar conversations. That's a cause to celebrate.
Let me talk about this. Again, I'm here for y'all today, so I'm addressing individuals. Let me put some of this on put some of these people on here. How can they talk about others' money when they don't know they own? LOL, they ain't seen accounting. How you feel so comfortable talking about this and you only got one side of the story and this shit ain't got nothing to do with you? All right, Charles, first let me get you out of here. Let me explain this to you, Charles. And I hate to say your name, Charlie, but I'm going to tell you something. They pay me to worry about these things. That's number one. And number two, I look at podcasting like I look at the NBA, like I look at the NFL, like I look at the rap game. I look at podcasting as a valuable asset to us as black people. These folks making a lot of money off this shit and they ain't telling nobody how to get in it. I had all the tools and I've been able to get in it. And I'm telling you, you can't get in it if you ain't cut like me. They got the doors locked on it. I tell you what, Charlie, I can shut the fuck up right now, Charlie. They done let me in. I don't got to talk on behalf of podcasters no more, Charlie. They done put me in position, Charlie. I can really shut the fuck up. But you know what? I'm fighting on behalf of niggas I know I ain't gonna never be able to speak with. I know for a fact I'm birthing niggas off this shit. I know for a fact I'm breaking the game down and it's birthing niggas off this shit. I know this, Charlie. Go check, go do some research on me, homie. I done got checks twice in this game already. Good ones, big ones. I'm good in this game. They probably paying me to shut up at this point, Charlie. But I'm doing this for the niggas up under me, Charlie, that don't understand the game. That don't know how the fuck is Wallow on them making the money. How can Joe do a podcast without ads? What's the difference? Why is Breakfast Club not really a podcast but can occupy the podcast space and do large? No, I'm the one breaking all that down, Charlie. Ain't nobody else looking out, Charlie. I was the dope man, Charlie. I know how to break a brick down, Charlie. So let me do what I need to do for my people, my loved one, because I'm talking to the trap. They got me on in the trap right now, Charlie. I might not be talking to the internet guys, Charlie. Them might not be my people, but I'm birthing niggas in the trap, Charlie. Let me do that, partner. And find you somewhere to chat at. Let the real ones be the real ones, loved one. Let me do me. All right, let's get back to this. Them shades ugly. Damn, them shades ugly. What shades? Damn, them shades ugly. What are you talking about? Charlie? Is that Charlie? Get back to this.
I don't want this short little fuckface to misconstrue that for the real niggas out here. That's cause for a toast in the air, like the 1-900 Hustler video where everybody come out. That's cause for constant big ups. How do you not root for that? Like, that's where it's confusing. If you know Wallow's story, 20 years in, came home and outworked 97% of y'all, still is doing it. How do you look at that guy and say, I don't want him to, how do you look at him and say he don't deserve that? It's weird. My first apartment that I bought off stolen laptops from the Wiz, where I had my baby moms move in, I decked that shit, DVD players, couches, everywhere. I was a simp from young, right? You are who you are. But in that crib was where I first seen the major pit. Doom, doom, doom. Doom, doom, doom.
Let me talk to y'all about this. Who do y'all think? Charlamagne or Joe Budden? Let's talk about it. Y'all tell me. Let's really talk about it too. Give me some talking points. Give me some points I can defend or some things that I can take in? Y'all give me some. Charlamagne or Joe Budden? We taking a poll on YouTube right now. I know Facebook. We in a lot of spots. We streaming. We got a lot of people. Wherever we at, y'all put some kind of polls up. Y'all tell me. Joe Budden, Charlamagne, what's the problem? Are we going to submit to Charlamagne putting Joe Budden in position? Did Joe Budden get in position without Charlamagne? Are these shots warranted? And see, you saying that him saying Charlamagne ain't had no bread was jokes and shots. This is one of the people said, right? Him saying Charlamagne ain't had no bread was jokes and shots. But I'm thinking to myself, what kind of jokes and shots is that? What kind of jokes and shots we throwing when you saying, let me explain this to y'all. I was just with Charlamagne at 85 South down in Atlanta. I was at the Black Effect Podcast Festival. When I tell you, sold out thousands of people. I saw it myself, right? We went and watched the fight. Me and Chad over at 85 South are real cool. Again, everybody in the game is making millions. They try to give me some information to help me lead the way. They know I got the torch, right? Because I'm telling you, the people that don't listen to podcasts, they listen to Loon, right? And I'm telling you this. But here's the thing. Chad pulled me to the side. The people at 85 South, they said, man, we got this building fucking with Charlamagne. I said, what the building worth? It's $1 million building. They got a check from dude and went and got the building. So for him to say Charlamagne ain't got no money, I'm saying, damn, I just left a nigga that told me them folk gave us $1 million just to pipe our shit up in real life. And then on the other side, I'm questioning Joe, make one of them niggas $1 million now. Make one of them. I can't say something. He been embracing Flip a little different. But I think it's dangerous for his brand. Because what he giving Flip, he can't take back. When Flip changes the whole dynamic of the show and Flip decides to lead the show, where do you go from there? You got to get in this weird rebuilding stages. No, Flip got to get in this territory and start. We got to do it like that. But when we think about dudes that's really putting in position, like I know, let's be clear, I know Joe making money off the pod, period. 100%. Millions of dollars are being made off the pod, in my opinion. I know people that argue the other side saying it's not being made, I'm telling you. Because think about it. All he got is the video and he got to pay 5 people. But I say Patreon paying that good because I got 4,000-5,000 people on there. I know what it's doing. You hear me? I know what's wrong. I know what the Patreon. I ain't trying. They might be reading my lips. So I'm trying to talk without moving on there. You hear? But I know what's going on Patreon. You hear? So when I look at Joe, I'm saying, I know he getting money over there. They trying to tell me, Loon, I don't think it. I'm saying, no, because I'm over there tapped in. Andrew Schultz over there tapped in. Schultz smoking over on Patreon. We talking about smoking. And so here's the thing. With Joe, you got to have his Patreon numbers up against Wallow and Gilly and all these other podcasts that got ads wrapped around the audio, ads wrapped around the video, ads wrapped around the AdSense on YouTube, ads wrapped around the ad shit on whatever platform, you know, Audio Boom or wherever they got the podcast on. Then on top of that, you got Wallow and them got all kind of deals to do all kind. It's a lot of paper being made. But it's fortunate because Joe supposed to be looking at it like, I can triple my money if I do this right. Not trying to keep shitting on the ad thing. But this is how you know these niggas think they smart, because whatever their position is, they can defend it. They've been speaking for a while, but when you think about it and you take your emotions out of it, you say, damn, I can triple my money. So just think, if I'm this strong on Patreon, then I take an ad on the audio side, then I take an ad on the video side. Nigga, I'm finna DDT. I'm come down with 2 DDTs on they funk ad, cause what I'm doing is tripling my money. My Patreon still what it is, but now I'm pulling in money here, pulling in money there. It's just a beautiful thing. And that's guess who got their business model? Yo boy, and I got it because of them. I ain't fighting with now one of them. Yo, Joe Wright with the Patreon thing. Loon did that. Yo, Wallow and them right with the ad thing. Loon did that. Here's your business model. Say thank you. Y'all niggas can thank me later. I just showed you. I just done it. Become a millionaire off this shit. I just done it. So I'm laying the blueprint down based on the things they done slick put in front of us. But you got to be picking up what I'm putting down. A lot of y'all still looking at numbers thinking, well, I don't know. It ain't that many. I'm telling you what's happening. Go check it out. We know what's going on in the game. That's why I believe Joe Budden is attacking Charlamagne. It ain't because Charlamagne said anything unnatural. And I'm going to talk about it in detail on this up there podcast. But it ain't because Charlamagne took a shot at Joe. It's because Charlamagne slick put some truth next to the lies that was out there about the #1 podcast thing. They took that power ranking thing and put it next to podcast thing, and then Wallow and them jump by and say, oh, and Charlamagne said, hey, you know they the highest paid. Put some truth next to it. Hey, I done saw them numbers. It's a little more than the 20 they saying. It's a little more. They got it right. It's a little more than that, but I seen it. And the next deal was more than that. So what I'm saying is it's a situation where I believe because they put something next to his status symbol, which was the #1 of the complex thing, I just believe it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? That's how I feel about him. All right, let's look at some of what the fans say. Charlamagne Schultz and Joe Budden have been going back and forth for a decade. I think it's mutual competition thing for views, beef, and animosity sales. I'm gonna tell you, you're wrong about that. Schultz and Charlamagne ain't interested in that. At least that's what I'm being presented with, right? When I know these guys. See, that's the thing about I ain't no blogger. This is what make it interesting. I'm willing to get out here in the trenches and talk about it, but I can call these niggas and we talk all the time. Even me and Ish talk. Like I got everybody like, yo, bro, anybody popping in the game. I talk to all, so I'm knowing like, nah, this ain't like that. No, them niggas ain't interested in this. I believe it's about muddy in the waters, and I think it's about consumer facing, and everybody want to be #1. I'm big dog on the podcast yard, but see, I'm gonna come in and take the game. Millions of dollars, way more money than Joe. That's a fact, and I ain't even counting the pocket that shows by the way they move. Think they're talking about Wallow and Gillet, whether it's real or fake, or a bit of both. I guess he's talking about Charlotte and Joe. That's why Ish be like, save the convo for Patreon. But if Joe without the ads, why he got to worry about it? Because it's more money. You running a business, you paying 5 people. I know y'all like Joe. Let's be real though. You paying all these people, you want to maximize benefit. And I keep telling y'all that, you know, and it might be my paranoia, right? I might be paranoid because I'm a nigga that's paranoid. I think, you know, it's a little bit shaky with knowing which way Flip will go, right? I think that, you know, I believe what he's allowing Flip to do to the house, he can't redo the house. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that if Flip leaves, now the house is left without that stained couch that people have, right? It's just something happening with that I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with as a business owner, right? And that's just me. But if he could maximize the ability to get ads, that's what he want to do. Again, when you wrap your shit in ads, and don't believe the story that the ads stay in for life. No, it don't. You can take the ad out in a certain amount of time if you want. What that does is you just create a job for somebody else. And also when you deal with these companies, they have tech that just places the ads in certain places without it even integrated in the actual audio. So it's almost like stop the audio, send them this way, play the ad, send them back to the audio, right? And that still counts as being inserted inside the episode. So it's also that. All right. There's no way Joe is turning down those 40K ads, bro, just because he don't like ads in the experience. There has to be something we don't know. That's what we're saying. We're trying to figure out why, but he keeps consumer facing, saying that that is because the experience. What I believe to be happening is he's struggling to get ads. the ones that I'm saying, like the GMs, the Cadillacs, like Revolt got Cadillac. Again, pay attention to what I'm telling you. This is a man that I know everything about it. Pay attention. Revolt got Cadillac, right? Barstool got GM, but they didn't give it to Wallow and them. Wallow and them got Omega and New Amsterdam. They gave GM to the Bussin' Boys, which is a podcast out of Nashville with some ex-NFL athletes. They've been running commercials. This is like a super big campaign with that podcast and GM. But again, Cadillac with Revolt, GM with Barstool. Black Effect got GM. Black Effect got GM, AT&T, Nissan. They got a whole bunch of shit too, because it's basically iHeart. So when you think about Black Effect, you look at iHeart. When you look at Joe, you say, all right, he on the hill by himself. And it's power in still being able to survive. But I'm not sure he's maximizing his potential. In the same way, when I looked at Schultz and Charlamagne and their podcast, you say, well, damn, are they maximizing their reach? Because they're two big mega stars. Think about that. Schultz by itself selling out arenas. Charlamagne by itself selling out arenas and doing all kind of crazy shit. Their podcast, maybe they didn't, and that's why they're redoing it. If you pay attention, they just got a new building, they relaunching. And here's the thing. I'm saying they're not maximizing why they're doing 300,000 on audio, 400,000 on audio, 400,000 on YouTube, and they can be doing much more because of who they both are. But as you see them now, they're about to package it like a podcast and start to press the buttons business-wise. That's what you got to pay attention to. Who's pressing buttons business-wise? It's all about Joe over there at the JBN. And at some point, people going to start to say, man, the dude don't run number quarterback sneaks over here. Nigga been running quarterback sneaks for years over here. Pay attention.
That video was out a lot. Major figures. Yeah, that's us. Gilly and them. Word up here. What y'all? Some Philly niggas. They down there. They moving. They get in. And niggas talking. They coming. This is in the 90s. Mm-hmm. I was still. So how do you look at that and say that person don't deserve it? Everywhere Gilly goes, his wife is without. How do you watch it and say, how do you not clap for that? Why would Charlamagne go in there and try to be
reductive?
Oh shit. What'd you say?
Reductive.
Reductive. I like that word. It's so fitting for where I'm going. These niggas always submitting me into the dick off.
Either I'm the illest nigga doing it or these niggas is losing it. This dude did for a long time saying, I'm number one. Number one's talking. This and that. I mean, best in that. How you now because somebody say that, hey, these dudes is the highest paid. Now is they, whoa, how they submit you in something? What the fuck was that? You know what I mean? What just happened right there? Oh, they put some truth next to that shit. They just put a little bit of truth next to that shit. It get uncomfortable. So now you try to discourage niggas from talking about it. Hey, motherfuckers over there, yeah. Hey, get out of my yard talking about that shit. You don't want no motherfucker talking about it. Hey, I think these guys might be making more money than everybody. So when Joe says, well, hey, they might be the highest paid because don't nobody pay me. That's what Joe said. And that was a bar. I said, oh, he kicking out. See, I'm the only nigga tackle niggas like that. See, I'm the only podcast niggas that can tackle these kind of niggas because I say that kind of shit. I say them shits 95 times in the podcast. I'm having all kind of slogans and man, the shit is in there, man. So I can tackle them kind of niggas, all that razzle dazzle talking. I tackle one of them niggas. You feel me? They can't do that to me. But that was a bar. Say, hey man, maybe they the highest paid because don't nobody pay me. I pay myself. Again, I just explained to you, you got to rewind. I ain't gonna keep breaking it down why I believe Wallow and Gilliam makes more money than him. To me, it's not that hard to see. I do believe he puts a fight up with the Patreon experience, but that's all he got. The YouTube money, man, you can spend that on tissue. No, that's tissue money. That Patreon is the bulk chunk of it. He ain't doing nothing with his audio. He ain't really doing much with his, right? He done maximized his Patreon, though. That's where he's standing tall at over there behind the wall where everybody slick want to go. If they know any better. You really want to go behind the wall and build your little Netflix if I'm keeping it gangster. See how I giving game? I don't have no feelings to these guys. I come in rich. I don't give a damn about none of them. And they keep checking. They be checking too. I be getting the word, man. The little nigga called, man. Nigga. And we let them know now, dude, really. They be checking the file. Nigga, keep checking. Nigga, it is what it is. Let's listen to what the people say. Parks had to get, hold on. Joe can easily have ass. Let's talk about this. Joe can easily have ass if he wanted to. It's about not whoring out your platform to make these companies rich. Plus, the cut he gets from allowing ass wasn't beneficial on Complex or Spotify. You believe it's not about whoring out your platform, but you put it on YouTube for pennies. Not even pennies, less than pennies. I'm talking and shout out to YouTube because we on YouTube. So I say that for Patreon. Y'all know where to get the vibration. But if we being honest, bro, like you want to maximize these things in business. Nobody's just doing business just to be doing shits and giggles. There's no way in the world that I'm gonna see dudes taking ads for getting 40,000 for an ad or something crazy. And I'm gonna sit back and say, I'm not whoring out my platform. I will not whore. I mean, come on, family. Come on, loved one. Think about that. I believe that he hasn't got with a company. I know he might have tried mid-roll, some of that shit, and they probably ain't giving him the splits he want. Because he ain't tied in nowhere. And I think the fight is bigger than just the listening experience. I don't buy that. That's just not, I'm not buying that. Parks had to be getting that bag when they was in the basement for 4 years. I don't know. According to them, they didn't. Ads make more money, and the more staff you had, the more money you have to pay. Yeah, I like Joe. Yeah. You just trolling. I ain't even asking you no more, loved one. You just trolling at this point. Facts Joe trying to get to the WWE ad Flips told him about like last week. Said he trying to get like Brian. Said they don't make money. See? But see, again, Act get to talk like that because he a one-man band. Again, this is why I keep trying to tell people when they try to say the Joe thing, yo, he got to pay all them people. Niggas is one-man bands. Nigga like Academics, even though he lost his deal with Spotify, let's keep it gangster. Academics numbers is horrible over there. Academics struggling over there, man. That man, they done dropped him off Spotify, man. He can't get no guests. And this is what I mean about power rankings. They put him number 2 on the power, or 3 or something on the power ranking, and he can't get no guests. Young boy went and done Elliott Wilson. Think about this. I'm the only nigga give y'all the game because don't nobody know nothing. Young boy went and done Elliott Wilson. Tekashi went and done Spanish people. Still ain't went and came and talked to him. Been running around doing all kind of other shit. Would not come talk to him. Lil Uzi ain't came. Who's going? He done burnt all his bridges because he get drunk on Twitch. You dig what I'm saying? So power rankings, you put Academics, who coming on the pod? I'm talking about powerful guys. Lil Baby drop didn't go. Bag drop didn't go. Savage went. I think Savage got a level of respect for him. Most people drop it ain't, you feel me? Then when they go, it be a snooze fest on the low. I think he's better at streaming than he is at interviewing. He got to hone that in. He probably ain't been doing it long, so he got a little bit to go. But he can't, I don't, it ain't really giving. But I know Spotify done dropped him. It's over. Say, bro, we paid you that much. You ain't even performing. We done with that. Hey, don't even worry about recording the rest of the month. Or just come as you could. Whenever you can, bro. And go sign. This how you know the deal over with him. They can clip this. I understand this. No, his deal didn't expire. He got kicked out the building. I'm telling you this, dude. I'm in these buildings. I've been offered by everybody. I'm in the building. I'm telling you this. Academics lost his deal with Spotify. They don't want to leave an exclusive podcast. They just put $10 million in the last 3 years. They want to re-up. That was exclusive. They finna let him go. He wasn't performing. This how you know he wasn't performing. And this is also how you know the deal is over. Spotify in 100 years would never let DJ Academics align with Rumble if they had any real interest in him. He would not be able to take a Rumble deal while being a face at Spotify. That will never happen. The Rumble deal should have showed you Spotify don't give a fuck because they have non-competes and all kind of shit. How you gonna go get a 7-figure deal according to you streaming on a whole nother platform? They got right-wing allegations against them, and you stand with Spotify. That's because Spotify ain't can no more. They done kicked you out the building. You done. That little podcast, and when he put it out here in the real world, it ain't gonna be doing too good. And all that getting drunk, ruining your relationships, now you gotta stand on that. 3 years in, when you no longer had a pop in social media. 4 years in, when you gotta depend on that podcast that nobody won't come on because you done burnt your bridges. How do you survive? It was a dumb business move. I tried to give you the game when you started because I know you watch me. How I know you watch me? Because you blocked me. I didn't know that you blocked me. They said, damn, the dude blocked you. Oh, he blocked me, huh? I ain't even know him. I ain't never even, what you blocking me for? I just get a game out. And everybody in the game love me. He got to block me. Can't be that close to truth. It's uncomfortable, right? So I gave him the game when he first started. I said, you know what, Academics, what you should do is leverage your platform to get your interviews. Because you building your podcast, you own that. That little Instagram shit you been living off of, little one, you don't own that, little guy. And let me relax, because there's people out there that need to get this information. I get passionate about it because I got rich under these niggas' nose. And they left nothing. And that gets offensive. It gets offensive because I know they left nothing. And now I'm to a point where I'm trying to figure out, did they leave nothing because they them kind of niggas, or did they leave nothing because they don't know nothing and they got lucky? And I'm starting to believe they got lucky. I'm starting to believe they've been living on the river their whole life and they ain't learned how to fish. I'm starting to believe they've been in this industry their whole life and they ain't learned how to really get no money. They just been luckily falling into the money. Because they done built a little brand or because they was first doing it. They really don't know how to work the wood wheel. I don't think they know how to work. And I'm the first nigga come through that know how to work the wood wheel. I'm the first one. So I look and I say, dawg, why would you burn your platform up like that? Now you got to fight the podcast like a nigga with no rep, like a nigga with no clout. You got a little old podcast over there like a little old nigga with no clout. When you one of the biggest platforms out there because you get drunk and say stupid shit here and there. And these the guys that's supposed to be leading the business. You think I ain't gonna take this shit easy? This shit is easy. You think this is hard work? This is easy. I've been going 2.5 hours. I know y'all gonna take care. I've been going 2. You got to come to Patreon. I'm finna just go exclusive on Patreon. Let's see. What else y'all talk about? Let's see. But how you not doing anything with the audio and this audio on streaming services? Because you don't hear ad in it. You don't get paid just for having audio. Same way you don't get paid just for having a video on YouTube. Take a minute. I ain't answering you no more because you ain't the kind of nigga dealing with enough wit for me to even be involved in doing tennis with niggas like this here. Say, dawg, upload your video over there and don't no ad be on it and see if YouTube send you a check. That's the end of that one. The YouTube pay pennies. But the YouTube videos ain't nothing but marketing for the Patreon. I think he's saving himself from the big boy Rogan deal. You don't have to do it like that. Rogan went and got the YouTube money. See, I'm such a student of the game. When Rogan announced the Spotify deal, guess what YouTube did? They monetized every video we had. All that shit about, you know, the pandemic and all that. They greenlit everything because they knew he was leaving. Right? They try to get all the revenue. Shit went up 40%. But these are the games they play because they know how to monetize off a guy. But you got to know, bro, don't never yo, bro, we all in this to make money. Joe got to pay more people than anybody. He got 5 people talent. That's a lot of money to be paying out, man. That's, you know, he could have got one other person, big boy guess, and paid him probably less than all 5 of them. Somebody, he could have maybe got, I don't know, somebody that just, they might want to, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to tell you. But this thing about that, Tekashi, he put all his chips in. When you see Tekashi go do an interview on a Spanish show after he get knocked out, that's academics playing effectively, failing right in your face. Because he put all his chips in Tekashi. He just knew when Tekashi got beat up, I got me another moment. Nuh-uh. I'm going over here to talk to these people. Then I'm over here. Then I'm going to drop a video. I ain't even over there yet. Trying to promote the video, still ain't came and talked to him. Young boy ain't came and talked to him. Dirk been playing him for years. I can't come talk to you, Slime. You ain't one of them men. Who go talk to him? Y'all put me down because I'm waiting. Y'all help me understand. I done been going. I'm finna go for like 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. Y'all help me. What y'all want to talk about? Y'all got 10 more minutes out of me. I ain't never streaming. I ain't doing this all day. I ain't one of them kind. I set this day up because we're promoting the Maul interview that's only on Patreon right now. If you have not saw that and you want to hear all about the situation with Maul and Joe Budden and the Joe Budden podcast fallout, the first with the original cast, you head to patreon.com. It's up there, podcast. That's where you get that. You will not find it nowhere else. We're not putting it out. I don't play the YouTube game. They don't pay well enough, so I don't care enough. And I get 400,000 audio listens. I got 50,000 audio listens in the last 7 days. Right? I'm telling you facts. And that's just me. That ain't even no interviews. That's just it's up there podcast. So you got to come there if you really want to tap in with the guard. Y'all put something in the chat. Let's talk. I've been rocking with y'all for 2 hours. You know, I appreciate y'all. The real ones is in here. I know they playing me in the trap someday, somewhere. I don't know what improper improv is gonna do. Looks like it's something what Flip is using to kind of tunnel the shit he been doing on live. I see a lot of recycled things happen on improper improv that Flip is already done. So I think Flip is just gonna take shit he's been doing for the last years and just bring it on and I guess try to amplify it on a bigger platform. You know, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I like conversation information. I think Joe can do that. I think Joe can operate in that space too. But give it 4 or 5 weeks without Joe coming in. Give improper improv 4 or 5 weeks without Joe sitting on that couch, and then we'll see what happens with it. I don't see it being, you know, when Joe wasn't even on the pod the other day and Flip had to. It's just interesting that he steps up and I'm hosted the pod, right? And I get it. I feel it, right? You step up, I'm going to do my thug thizzle. But him hosting the pod, I don't know if it does the same. I don't know, man. I don't know. I do see it doing well right now. But Joe face on camera is something that I'm not sure is being accounted for in its proper setting over there in that situation, right? They're expecting to see Joe hear from Joe. Now Flip is doing his thing, I think, implementing again some of the things he's already did on Twitch. I'm sorry, on Instagram, on YouTube. He's been doing these same things for years. Hey, go eat this food, or hey, go, get in this trash can with ice in it and stay there for 6 minutes. Like this is what he's been doing. He's just now about to try to, and again, this is what I'm telling you, it's dangerous for Joe Budden. You don't let this guy change your platform into this shit. This is his shit. If you let him change, because we look at least most people would look at Joe Budden shit as like an information, good conversation, just barbershop talk, kickback. You finna let this dude change it into niggas getting egg put on their face and birds bought in the room and snakes around your neck. You letting a nigga change your whole platform into that right in front of nigga eyes? You ain't smart as I thought you was, nigga. You let a motherfucker come in and redecorate a house you been building 7 years? You ain't as smart as I thought you was. And they frame themselves as scrappy dude because they know that's the only way you gonna let me get that off. I done studied you long enough, right? I gotta come in. I'll beat one of you niggas up by him, man. Make sure you can I show up on Thursday for me? I'll whoop one of you niggas about that nigga, man. You got $20. Man, I'll kill one of you niggas. Y'all get to play. You got $15, brother. Can you take me up the street? I kill one of these niggas about you. You better run me up the street. See, it's one of them things. It's one of them hustles, you know. And I mean, I ain't knocking him. I just think far as manipulation, I think Joe done fell into, well, hey, you got another nigga know how to manipulate. He know how to touch that little spot you got with this tender that Maul and Rory and them hurt you. He touch that little spot for him. You know what I'm saying? Make him feel secure. Got a real homeboy. I don't know. Maybe he don't, because sometimes Joe will shoot him down. I don't know, but I think that that's what he's trying to do. You know, I think that Flip is gonna maximize more off Joe than Joe can really add up right now. You know, I think the conversation is worth just paying attention to. Just pay attention to what I said, right? You hear me saying it now, just pay attention. You say Cap is better. It's better with Flip. Hey, that's what I'm saying. Even if that is right, let's say that's right. Let's say it's better with Flip. What do they do when Flip leave? What do they do when Flip say, I want $1 million or I can just do my own shit? What do they do then? What do they do when he figure out or he get to thinking that, hey, I might can leave with some of this audience with me. They gonna come watch me now. What happens then? Nobody's saying the show ain't better. That's on you. That ain't for me to say the entire show not better. Who am I to say that? What I'm telling you is I don't let you add something to my seasoning that we can't get out or that we can't sustain on our own in case you don't show up with the salt this week. Maybe you ran out of salt. Maybe you don't feel like bringing salt way over to my house this week. I need to still be able to make that chicken that they like without your salt in it because this is business. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Flip interviews way better. Let me see. This some hate. Yo, y'all moving, ain't shit. This should have been out. I don't think the 6 mics is sustainable. So this is what the fans saying. I don't think the 6 mics is sustainable. Yo, y'all moving, ain't you? This should have been out. This is out on Patreon, sir. It's already out. It's out on Patreon. This some hate. This is not hate. Why would I hate? And who would I hate on? What is it to hate about? Please put that in down there. What is it to hate about? Somebody put that down there. If he thinks somebody hating on these guys, tell me what the fuck is it for me to hate about and keep it gangster. JBP with Rory and Mal was way better. The Groove was way better with Rory and Mal. No, I'm saying it was better with all of them than it was with Rory and Mal. Okay. Yeah, I hear some. I'll be back later.